moment. And by the way, it says here, this man von Nigg infiltrated the Masonic lodges and often managed to gain a commanding position. Now, most men would not know this. They wouldn't know that in the top degrees there are men who understand what I'm saying, but in the lower degrees they do not understand these things. The only people who understand these matters to do with the New World Order in the lodge are called the sages, the elect, and the adepts. And these men belong to the esoteric degrees and are very keen on setting up a one world government or a one world political system and a one world church. Now, in the light of the information you've heard, let's now explain the seals on the dollar to you before we go any further. First of all, we notice that the eye in the triangle is the eye of Satan or Lucifer. The 13 layers now refer to the 13 power groups who are setting up the one world government or the New World Order. Which of you remember George Bush speaking just prior to the Gulf War? Do you remember? He came on television and he said the words, New World Order. Then he said again, New World Order. And then he referred to 1,000 points of light. I thought to myself, what a strange thing for the President of the United States to be saying. What is the meaning of the words 1,000 points of light? And I discovered it means that there are about 1,000 illumined groups in the world today who are setting up the New World Order. If you think you know the name of the group who is setting it up, there are probably 999 other groups that you do not know about. They are called 1,000 points of light. Down the bottom of the seal here, of the pyramid, you see also the date 1776 in Roman numbers. That is the date May the 1st when the Illuminati was inaugurated, not July the 4th, the Declaration of Independence. What do you know about May the 1st? That is the day when the communists and the socialists march all around the world. It is called May Day, and the witches are very, very fond of May Day. Did you know that? Witchcraft is very, very fond of May Day. Now we move on. We notice that there are two Latin words at the top here. The words are annua chaptus, which means announcing the birth of. If you're taking notes tonight, would you write it down, please? Announcing the birth of. Down the bottom here, the words are Novus Ordo Seclorum. A friend of mine from Johannesburg wrote to Oxford University to get the correct meaning of the word seclorum because it has been variously translated. Oxford University wrote back, and I have a copy of their letter. They said the word seclorum is where the word secular comes from. It means secular, heathenistic, ungodly, godless. Secular, heathenistic, ungodly, godless. And the word novus means new, and the word ordo means order. In other words, Lucifer, the eye in the triangle, is saying we are announcing the birth of a secular, heathenistic, ungodly, godless, one world government, one world church, one world money system, and one world law system or judicial system. Now, you say, fancy that being on the dollar. My wife and I were in Western Samoa, my wife's country, last year, and we visited the Prime Minister of that country, whose name is Eta Bi. And while we were visiting that man, having prayer with him early in the morning, I explained to him the seals on the dollar. And he said to me, Barry, if that is true, if that's the eye of Satan, why do we also have the words, in God we trust, over here? Now here's the answer. When America was settled, it was settled by two groups of people. It was settled by the Pilgrim Fathers, who sailed from Plymouth Hoe. Some of you have been down there. You've seen the plaque on the wharf. And the Pilgrim Fathers went from Great Britain across to America for religious freedom. That's why on the dollar you see the words, in God we trust. We were traveling in Seattle, Washington one day, my wife and I saw a girl carrying a very big book. And I said to her, what is the name of your book? She said it's called The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly Hall. I said, how much for your book? She said, $20. I said, I'll buy it from you. So I bought the book. She took the 20 American dollars. I took it home and excitedly turned to the section to do with the seals on the American dollar. These seals are full of mysticism. Now listen to what Manly Hall says. This man is a top Freemason writer and he speaks with authority. This is what he says. I'll read it to you. Not only were many of the founders of the United States government Masons, but they received aid from a secret and august body existing in Europe, which helped them to establish this country for a peculiar and a particular purpose. I'll put that on the board for you, peculiar. So America was settled for a peculiar and a particular purpose, known only to the initiated few. Who are the initiated few altogether? The sages, the elect, and the adepts. These people know the particular and peculiar purpose for which the United States of America was settled in the first place. And so we read on what Manly Hall says. The Great Seal is the signature of this exalted body, unseen and for the most part unknown, and the unfinished pyramid on its reverse side is a trestle board setting forth symbolically the task to the accomplishment of which the United States government was dedicated from the day of its inception. Now this is very important knowledge you're hearing tonight. You understand they're having the elections next year in America, 1996, and whoever wins the election could be the final president of that country. It's very, very interesting because America is now coming to the culmination of history. The peculiar and particular purpose is about to be revealed as they want to set up a one world government over which they will be in control in some way. Now we move quickly on. I now put the next one on. Have a look at this. We turn the page in Manly Hall's book and we find the following. European mysticism was not dead at the time the United States of America was founded. The hand of the mysteries controlled in the establishment of the new government, for the signature of the mysteries may still be seen on the Great Seal of the United States of America. Careful analysis of the seal discloses a mass of occult and Masonic symbols, chief among them the so-called American eagle. Now, if I was to ask you tonight, what is the symbol of America, what would you say? Call it out, friends. The eagle. Now, what does Manly Hall say that bird is? He says it's not an eagle at all. He says the American eagle upon the Great Seal is but a conventionalized phoenix. Now, what's a phoenix? A mystical bird that rises out of its own ashes. You'll remember in the book of Genesis chapter 11, men's first attempt to set up a one world government was called the Tower of Babel. God destroyed the Tower of Babel because he didn't want it to operate. In the last days, the phoenix is rising from the ashes of the Tower of Babel.